Okay, so now here we are, standard form. So for the past couple of days, we did quite a bit of standard form stuff because we were able to use something called the quadratic equation to find out the roots, right? So if you have the standard form, so only when you have the standard form, by the way, you can use this. Okay, the negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And I would tell you this, every single student who graduates from high school, they should know this, okay? If they don't know this, then they should return their high school diploma. All right, so that's what I believe in, okay? Every single high school student, after taking Algebra 2, you should know that this is the way you find out the roots. And as I said earlier, this is your safety net. Okay, if you think that something is difficult to factor, then you can always use this to find out the root. Okay, it's really, really easy. And if you know this quadratic formula, okay, again, this is quadratic formula. If you know this quadratic formula, then you know something special that's embedded in the quadratic formula that's called the discriminant. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And I hope you still know that it tells you the number of roots. Okay, we have the discriminant is bigger than 0, is positive. It tells us that it has two real roots because if this number is positive, you have to add or subtract numbers. Right, so that's how you get two real roots. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, then you have a single root because you only have negative b over 2a as the single root. And then if it's negative, well, square root of negative number, it's imaginary. So that's how you have two imaginary roots when b squared minus 4ac it's negative, and we'll also say that there will be no real roots in that case. Okay, so we have the quadratic formula, we have the discriminant. Now these are something that you have to work in order to tell. That's a lot of effort, a lot of effort. Anything that's easier? Yes, of course. We have the a value, right? A value again, it's about whether it's opening up or opening down. A value is positive. It's opening up. A value is negative. It's opening down, just like the previous root form. Okay, the previous slide. Okay. So anything else? Well, anything else? Of course, there's something else. It's the c value. The c value, it's actually telling us the y-intercept. Okay. The y-intercept, it's always 0, comma, z. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this. So the c value, it's the y-intercept, and why? How do we know? How do we know that c is always the y-intercept? Now, by the way, I want to make a disclaimer here. We always say that c is the y-intercept when and only when it is in the standard form. Okay, standard form. So you can close your eyes and ask yourself, do you know what standard form looks like? Okay, you better know by the end of this video. Well, the reason why c is always the y-intercept, it's because when you put in 0 for x, right? Well, the first two terms are literally gone because a and b will be multiplied by 0. So what's left? C. So that's how we know, okay, that the c value is the y-intercept. Okay. Well, anything else? Anything else that we can extract from here? And we say yes, 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 yes. And this is pretty special. We can actually tell the axis of symmetry from here. Okay, axis of symmetry. It's from here. And how do you tell? Let me write this down and see if you can see where it came from. It came from here. All right. Does it look familiar to you? Okay. The negative b over 2a, does it look familiar to you? I hope it does because it came from here. Okay. So if you know your quadratic formula, you know a total of three things, okay? If you know your quadratic formula, you know a total of three things. You can tell the axis of symmetry by negative b over 2a. You know the number of roots by looking at the b squared minus 4ac. And you can know the roots by, just doing the quadratic formula. And of course, make sure you did what you're supposed to do for the past few lessons, that you know how to simplify it. Okay, so the standard form gives us a good amount of information, and these are all information that we will practice today. All right, and we'll practice with some examples to show how we can extract all these information from the standard form. Okay, so the next video, we'll start looking at the examples here. I think let's go ahead and do this now. We can get the y-intercept fairly quickly. Hey, that's the y-intercept right there. Now, don't messed up the writing. It is 0 comma negative 3, not negative 3 comma 0. Okay, so always, always, always a y-intercept is 0 comma something, because it's lying on the y-axis, and that means x is 0. For this one, the y-intercept is 0 comma 4. And for this one, well, you don't see a constant, do you? Because it is plus 0. So therefore, the y-intercept would be 0 comma 0. Okay, pretty easy. All right, so the next video, we will look at this example. Okay, we will look into this example, which is on your paper. And we'll go over a couple of things about this, like what we can tell from this, okay? The new information that we got.